I think, in terms of just seeing these people at this point in bracket. Maybe the combination of the teams is a little bit of a whoa, but at least the players everyone can kind of feel familiar with, which is a nice thing to have here. And we're having Use on this Finn, and I talked with Taza about it a little bit earlier, because Finn, aka Jala, is not really a character that we've seen in Brawlhalla. 2v2s for like, it feels like years at this point. We were saying it's like Pugsy and like one other. That's kind of it. And when Pugsy won that tournament, that was at least like, what, like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. Yeah, like enough that like it doesn't feel like it's worth mentioning anymore. You know, Pugsy would be like, yeah, I won those like 2 tournaments or whatever back to back that one time, but like that doesn't mean that like you're gonna put Pugsy seeded for top 4 anymore. You know, that time is come and gone.
Yeah. Different era of Brawlhalla that we're in. I mean, if we're comparing Queen Nai as like a battle tank, I would say Use and, you know, the Jala pick is essentially like a glass cannon.
Yes.
You have super low defense, but there was a time when down Sig's sword was faster than any other light attack that the sword could bring out, and so people would just use that over and over and over again and dominate.
It's still good.
Oh yeah, it's still really
still
good.
But I feel like, you know, the tough part is, I mean, we're seeing mainly Axe from Use right now. Hopefully, maybe we see a little bit of that sword a little bit later on. I like this edge guard attempt here. Tries to go for the gravity cancel Ensig. Maybe a down air. Doesn't even need to get it. Gets that ground pound instead for good measure. And a nice save coming out here. Gets the edge guard anyway. And Vecinaa is going to get pushed off stage as well. Do we get the ground pound? Nice coverage from Power here. Needs a weapon throw. Doesn't even need it. Actually can't make it back. Power didn't have to go for that touch at all. But that weapon throw is going to seal the deal here. Can you fall and get a nair on him? No. And so that way, they both end up losing their stocks there. And that's a little bit unfortunate, only because they actually secured their knockouts and were in a position where nobody needed to save anyone, but they hadn't recognized it yet. And so because they thought they needed to save each other, they both lost their stocks.
They were under the ocean waves of Apocalypse, the lava ocean there, and they were safe at first, but no. They put themselves in those spots, and now they're feeling the ripple effects forwards. A full stock difference now between Use Power and Vecinaa Reaper. They just have to make sure they can maintain themselves here. But again, just taking these 1v1s, Use especially, having Vecinaa looped in with that axe. Double axe out for blue team right now, just dividing out the red team.
All right, here we go.
Oh, will it be enough though? Use still looking for the ledge guard up against Vecinaa. Vecinaa's been riding that edge with the sword. Unable to find a whole lot besides that single side air. Use left uncontested back over to Reaper to maybe find an escape option. No. Instead it was the charged up neutral sig to be the anti-force for Use to not get back forward for Vecinaa off stage. The attempted save might be here. This could be a reenactment of stock number 2.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
But it's far worse.
Vecinaa kind of threw there. I'm not really sure what he was planning with that slide charge neutral sig that he held all the way down there, but it led to him losing his stock, and now Reaper is all alone against Power and Use, trying to get back to the stage, throws the weapon up, maybe get an edge guard here, can't quite do it, unarmed, gets an unarmed neutral light, and no punish from Use, gave him so much time, he just didn't respond, but still so much work to do. Nice little follow-up with that side air on reaction from Power, and that's going to be Use and Power taking that game 1. But I'm real confused about that slide charge neutral sig from Vecinaa. That was just not a good play.
Yeah, it felt like a lot of the offstage coming out for Vecinaa and Reaper was unrefined, to say the very least, especially for this late in the tournament.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you're not gonna do it if you don't think it's not gonna hit, right?
You don't want to just willingly put yourself.
That is ridiculous. That he did that Sarah so early and it was still active by the time that that's funny. Anyway, going on to game number 2, back on Apocalypse, and we're gonna see if maybe this time around Reaper and Vecinaa can have a little bit closer of a bout. There was a bit of spaghetti in that previous game. I'm not gonna lie, there were noodles all over the place.
I mean, I'm thinking, like, if I'm a Sidra and I have my Ulgrim with me, I'm going to play more on stage, right? D-Sig with either one of those weapons from Sidra, you could just take anybody on blue team and just shove them off the stage yourself without having to go there first.
This is true. This is true.
In fact, we could have seen, say, Sidra D-Sig, there'd be a recovery option for their teammate.
Instead, pain. Instead, pain.
Yes, nothing but pain.
But the world will know pain. Almighty push. Here we go into this second game here. See Ground pound attempt from Power. It's not going to find the mark, and Neutral Light is going to work there. You see Vecinaa try to break it up with the weapon throw, but it's a little bit too slow. Manages to get a Sayer on that Ulgrim down sig as well, so I like that punch that we see from Reaper, but the blue team has complete positioning. That down sig is going to find the mark, and now Use and Power still holding the corner. What a conversion. They got it down pat.
I love these half-stage combos that Use and Power are bringing out, and to me, to an extent, that's like the experience that Use and Power, they're used to this top end of a tournament. They're here all the time, but that's not going to stop Vecinaa. Use falls to the hands of a cannon, and Power, the only one left, the odd one out. Lance in the hand, still with their third stock, bouncing around, just making sure they can protect Use, but that's a little short-lived, and we're at a big reset.
Okay. Breath of fresh air for both teams here. Trying to figure out who can kind of gain control of center stage. It looks like Use managed to force the member of red team off, and now blue team has regained control of center. Use is fine getting that friendly fire if it means both members of team red. Yeah, they can't get out of this corner, and Power's just waiting. So somebody try to get back on stage. Weapon throw's good.
At least this time, Power and Use weren't like on top of the ledge. There was a little bit of breathing room, allowing Reaper to go for a full recovery back to the ledge.
Oh, I didn't KO though.
No weapon for Vecinaa either. The cannon's out though. This is going to make spacing really difficult for blue team, not to mention the Lance that they also have to worry about. Divide and conquer, says these two. Vecina's trying to find that opening there, but a recovery instead from Use says, not today, you're down to your final stock again.
Okay, what's the answer going to be here? Can we see an answer back from Vecinaa and Reaper, or will Power and Use go on and take yet another game? So far, it's looking like that might be the case. As you were mentioning before, Vecinaa down to that final stock. A lot of damage racked up on Reaper on his second stock as well. Use doing such a great job of holding center. He doesn't even have a weapon. That's how good he is at exerting force on the stage. Comes unarmed and almost picks up that weapon and gets the extension. The blue team is playing phenomenally. When they pincer, they pincer.
Oh, yeah. It's like a gigantic bug. You can't get out of it whatsoever. Good combos again. And we saw this a lot with Stair and Hanami, where there would just be these beautiful 2v1 combos, but it fell a little short when we saw them get eliminated from quarterfinals. But this is like kind of the remake of it almost. Like we're seeing a lot more refined 2v1s here.
Yeah, definitely like refined is the word that I would use, right? Just cleaner across the board. In terms of execution, follow-ups, everything, positioning. We're seeing Power and Use just look so much more refined, and that's why they went ahead and secured this game number 2, losing only 2 stocks across the team and winning in very dominant fashion. Reaper and Vecinaa got to hit the drawing board. I don't know what the answer is here. I don't know if they're going to go for a legend swap, if they're just going to try to skill harder. Yeah. Either way, it's not looking great.
I want to see the stats real quick, because I'm not sure if Vecinaa used a single signature that game.
Okay, so we got a few. We got.
Because I don't remember. Well, there weren't any that were impactful. And the thing about Sidra Sigs again is that the reposition quality is like almost unlike anybody else in the game. Where like you can stuff people to the bottom of that blast zone and they'll never come up. Never ever. But instead Vecinaa was the one down there. And there was no Sidra against them.
Flirting with it, I guess? I don't know, because I feel like that's the thing with when you're playing Sidra, it's like so many of the SIGs you throw out are just like neutral SIGs off the corner of the ledge that aren't actually meant to hit anyone. It's just like, I hope somebody comes over here. And that's probably where like some of those SIGs we saw came from. But like the accuracy was pitiful. You know, it was like in the 20-something percentile. And so definitely, I mean, heading into this next game, hoping that they're going to be able to land more of those, or at least more impactful ones that lead to knockouts or positioning. Because, I mean, this is the last shot that they have.
I mean, I think the stage is going to benefit Vecinaa and Reaper a little bit more. You have the Onyx pick out now. You have a smaller stage overall, and there's a little bit more ledge presence that, you know, you can get away with things a little bit more that we've seen Red Team love to kind of dance with that edge. So they should, in theory, have a lot more advantages going into this. But as I say that, though, you also go up against Power. That's a lot of power to drive you off from that blast zone. That's Reaper's first stock gone.
And on top of that, you have Use as well on the glass cannon, right? So smaller stage, you know, keep things a little bit more up close and personal, but it also means that you're going to be losing your stocks that much faster. And against a character like Brawlhalla or a character like Ulgrim, that might not be necessarily what you want. They have to find the KOs early on the other side of things, though, right? That down sig is going to be a good start. Can we see something on a power here, maybe? Need to get a lead for yourselves. Almost ends up in that chainsaw. Lucky power didn't hold it down.
That's right. We have to start renaming some of these signatures, don't we? We have chainsaw. We have fast attacks from Muse.
Oh,
We haven't really seen the cannon have much prominence yet, though, from Vecinaa. I'm waiting to see when the Sares are coming out, kind of to subsidize the Sare from Lance 2. But right now, it's been mostly just catch out like anti-aerials from Blue Team. And even then, Vecinaa hasn't, well, up until now, really been shown that much in battle. It's mostly the follow-up off of Reaper. Good Nair, though, to eliminate Power's first stock. And Vecinaa's barely holding on to the first. But I'm looking at Reaper again, who has been having a really tough time holding on.
yeah, no, I mean, this is coming down to the nitty-gritty. I mean, granted, the one thing we do have in favor of the red team is that Vecinaa does have those 3 stocks. Reaper does only have 2, though, but as far as leads go, this is the most of the lead they've had. But at this point, Reaper's going to lose a stock soon, and then the lead that they had is going to dissipate effectively in the span of like 30 seconds or so. So we'll see how long Reaper can hold. If he can hold the line here, it might be the difference between these guys going to game 4 or getting knocked out of the bracket right here and now.
And you would think like the easy answer if you're Vecinaa or like Reaper, right, would be like, okay, well, let's just target Use. They have 4 defense. We just 2v1, force the 2v1, and just kind of ignore Power. This should be easier in theory, but Vecinaa, not even 30 seconds ago, had their first stock, and suddenly they lost it. They're down to 1.
This is not looking
Elimination stocks for both of them.
not great. Yeah, we'll see what they can do here, but Power and Use are looking extremely comfortable. Vecinaa manages to get that N-Sig, though, to close out Power stock, and that's the kind of juice that they needed to give themselves some confidence to bring us to a game 4. Use also in the red. I mean, that's Jala, so if you can convert, there you go. Beautiful conversion from Vecinaa. And now you have yourselves a tight battle. So hold on. We ain't out of the woods just yet, but we're getting a little bit closer. The opportunity for some light at the end of the tunnel has amassed itself.
Yeah, it's 1v1s now. Use is playing the ledge guarding game up against the Lance of Reaper. Reaper is eventually able to get back onto the stage. At this point, just poking and botting in neutral. Making sure, okay, we can remove some of this from contention, but 1v1 City, still not a lot of pressure being placed on Use specifically, more so just happenstance if you run into a Sare. Instead, it's Use the Sare in reverse, right across the board. This is the final shot for Red Team to make a statement in quarterfinals.
And it's going to be unfortunate. The side sig was not enough from Reaper there, which is going to lead to this 2v1 for Vecinaa. Final stock potentially in this bracket. Needs to find anything to get these KOs. Needs to find a way down to the ground. Side airs to grab the side of the stage. Looking for literally anything. Are you going to do a gravity cancel signature? How are you going to make this happen? Tries to do a dash onto the stage and down sig, but goes a little bit too far. One more shot. Manages to get through that D-Light. Looking for any opening, but Blue Team's not biting.
No. Vecinaa's looking for any opportunity to move in. Great spot dodge. At this point, literally anything like that will remove Vecinaa, remove Reaper from the elimination bracket. Good lord. And I mean, we talked about the glass cannon of Finn, right? But there was never an opportunity in this matchup where it felt like Use was contested.
Yeah, and I feel similarly. I mean, the damage numbers were pretty solid from Use the entire time. Finding these signatures was a pretty...